Well, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Takeover Tuesdays. I'm your host, Jessica Springs. This morning, we have a lovely guest as always. But before I get to her, I'd like to just take a moment to tell you about this show. If this is your first time tuning in with us, first of all, you are in for a treat. And second of all, this show is all about connecting community and focusing on small business owners. This is a platform that allows small business owners to share their business, share their products, services, and go deeper than that. Tell us about their story, who they are, and how they got to the place they are today. So, without further ado, and as always, I hope you have your coffee, tea, whatever going on, ready to listen and chime in. And please, as always, we love for you to participate. So as I bring this guest on, take that opportunity. If questions come up with her, to ask her anything. She's an open book. This guest is definitely an open book. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with her. Let me bring her on in. Good morning, Spirit.
Good morning, Jessica. How are you doing?
I am fabulous. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for asking.
Good. Good. Well, this is Spirit Corley, and she is the owner of Gem Sense, the CEO. And I'm going to let Spirit just tell us about herself. And we're just going to jump right in, Spirit, and get to it, because I know we're probably going to run out of time with you. You have a lot. You have a very fascinating story. So I know we're going to have a full interview.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I'm like, oh my God, 30 minutes to tell my story, the whys of my story and how I created Gem Sense Aromatics and what that stemmed from. For me, just to kind of give you a little bit of backstory, Gem Sense Aromatics was created from a place of authenticity and intention. I had developed several autoimmune disorders that led to MS. And so as an artist and creative, I needed a lifeline in order to continue to be that creative person. I move by day in workforce development initiatives. I oversee several grants. I also model and act. And then I also have my small business. But at the time when I got sick, I had just finished graduate school, bought a new house, and then my son's father passed away. All those things happened as a result. That's what created my illness and or just disease. But from those experiences that were so hard and overwhelming to kind of move through, I did have to find something within myself to be able to continue to express myself creatively. And one of the things that I love are scents. I've always created my own body oils and scents from back in the 80s. I remember shopping in New York, on the streets of New York and Brooklyn, and buying oils and mixing oils. So that was something I intrinsically knew. So when I created Gem Sense Aromatics, it came from that place. And so that was a manifestation of that. In 2016 is when I decided to actually think of it as more of a brand, not so much as a side hustle. And so that's kind of like the backstory, the good, bad, and not so good parts. But this is where I am today.
Yes, and I love first of all, I love where you're at today, because I watch all of your stuff on Facebook, and really your page always gives me life. Every time you post, I get some new life in me.
Oh, thanks.
When you post. Yes, absolutely. So I mean, give us some bit of your history. Share, if you would like, share some of the personal story of how you got to this place.
Well, as I just mentioned, just of some of the life experiences I had, that we all, as I say in many of my platforms, that we all have a story. You can choose to be in your story, or you can choose to stand on your story. And so what I've done throughout my life is to be able to have the courage enough to stand on my story. And so when I pursued my business that I have now with Gem Sense Aromatics, even though I still move by day in workforce, I still model and act, I do a lot of different things because I'm just that kind of person. I love to be creative. I love to express it in different ways. And so with my natural bath and body collection, and also my new line of GSA wicks, which are vegan soy candles, those are all manifestations of where I was. Every scent that I create, it has a story. So for instance, my very first scent, which is an aromatic body oil called Signature, It was a scent that I created back in the 80s that I was pretty much known for. And so from there, I created a scent called Seven, which is in honor of my son Seven. We call him Seven. And then also I have a scent called Rejoice. And so, as you probably know, Jessica, in 2018, after 30 years of searching, I found my birth mother. And so her name is Joy. So in honor of her and finding her, I named this scent called Rejoice, and it's a beautiful scent. And all my scents are so full bodied, including beautiful notes, imported oils from around the world. And so when I create each of those aromas, I do so with a place of true authenticity, not just to sell a product, but it's more of a connection to my customers and my community. So those who experience my products, they understand that gift that I say every scent, every product is made with powerful intention, and that is definitely true. And so, like I said, everything I do, I definitely do with intention, and there's a connection, and I hope that that connection resonates with my community, and my community grows because they understand that these products are made with true love.
Yeah, well, I can say firsthand. So I've had one of your gift packs, and let me just say, really, real talk. The one I forget, forgive me for the name. It's the one that you use in the shower.
The foamy salt scrub.
Oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
that is amazing. No, really, the smell, I agree with you on the smell. That just brings, it does actually bring soothing and joy to me when I use that in the shower. I love, that's my favorite. And I actually ran out, so I do have to order some more. But I really look forward to using that in the shower. I really do.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, with the foaming salt scrub, so the salts come from Bonaire, which is in the Dutch West Indies. And so, as again, when I create my products, even though I do work on a shoestring budget, I make sure that my products come from a place so they're harvested in a natural element. And so, there's a story behind that because, in the Dutch West Indies, that salt initially was harvested by slaves. And so there's history behind those highly mineralized salts that you're using, as well as a scent I think you have is Urban Jewel. And that scent was created, Urban Jewel was created in honor of our ancestors, the women of Africa, how they may have moved across the dirt and to smell the aroma, whatever it is wafting through the wind. And so I kind of researched different essential oils and herbs and spices they might have used and worn. And so that's where Urban Jewel comes from.
Oh,
So
thank you for that back.
yeah,
Yeah, well, I mean, just putting it on your skin is like a whole. It really is. It's like a whole experience. I get it. I get excited that I can feel. It just. I don't know. It just feels different on your skin than other things, other products.
thank you. I'm glad
Yeah,
you like
for sure.
it.
Yeah. So tell us, I mean, you've been talking about, I think, what makes you so unique. What do you think with your products, other than the history and how you came to this place, what makes your products so different than other products? Because as we know, health and beauty, there's a wide spectrum of amazing products out there, and some unfortunately not probably so amazing. But what makes yours, you think, special other than what you've already mentioned? I know the history and the ancestry and that. What do you think those set you apart?
I feel that Jameson's Aromatics is a reflection of my life by design. I am a conscious eater and vegan. And I work out 5 to 6 days a week. At 55 years old, I take care of my vessel. And so, with that, I always say it's just as important what you put in your body as to what you put on your body. And so, I'm very aware about that, and the fact that when I create products, it's an extension of myself. It's not just creating something to sell. It's I'm creating something that I hope sparks something in someone in some kind of way. Connection. Scent is one of our most powerful of senses, and so when you smell an aroma and whatever product it is, I hope that it evokes something in my users, and so that's kind of, I think, I feel what sets me apart, as well as what I mentioned earlier about being able to have a story and or a connection or something that's connected to each of my products and when I create them. And also with GSA Wicks, which is my new vegan soy candle line. Those candles were created at the beginning of the pandemic when we all had to make these tremendous shifts and pivots with our businesses, and the influx of that, and figuring out where to go next in order to not tank. I decided, because I love candles and I've always made them for myself, that I would include that into my new product line. And I have several candles that are very intentional. They come with a motivation and an inspiration card. The photographs are photographed by my mother. I'm actually in her office now. So that's why you see a lot of stuff behind me. um, and she's 80 years old, a phenomenal, brilliant woman, my adoptive mother. And so just including her in that piece, because we lost my dad a year ago today. And so that's why I'm here. And so, like I said, everything I do, I do it with intention. And so bringing her into my space creatively is inspiring her, motivating her, keeping her, agile and creative, because she's a very creative person as well as very intelligent. So I just feel it makes me feel good that I'm able to work with her in that capacity and to help her, even at 80 years old, to kind of go in a different direction with her creative talents and create an actual business from that. So,
Yeah, because you're never too old. And speaking, Najla, good morning, Najla. She says self-care is key. And I mean, that's a very cliche saying, but it is so true and so significant to me. I know you too, Spirit. You're really, as you said, and I know personally you're very big on that. And those candles are a part of my self-care. So I have one of your candles too. That was part of the package that I got. And really, for me, candles are self-care because again, they just take me away from everything. When I put on a candle, I can decompress and kind of just be in my own world.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. I was really happy when I was able to kind of pivot in that direction and create a line, because not only am I creating the candle, the label, and all that, I actually created my own aromas. And I found that was a little bit more challenging, but I really wanted to stay true to my brand, being a conscious brand, and just how I develop products. And so I'm really happy and having lots of fun creating candles. And I have a new collection coming out in time for Mother's Day. So I'll have to hook you up, Jessica, and send you some of my new stuff so you can sample it and tell me what you think.
Absolutely. I'm serious. I'm excited. I get excited about all this stuff, your products. I love it. So can you tell us a bit more about the process of making your products? I know you probably don't want to give away all your secrets, but like just what does your process look like, and how did it start? How did you figure out how to mix things? I know you mentioned you played around and stuff, and that's a piece of you, but how did you go from that to having like a formula that you make for all of your products?
I will say part of it based on my earlier sense, and I'll just kind of share a little bit about the aromatic body oils, because that is where I started. And that's the premise of my brand, just the aromas in of themselves. Um, some were trial and error, and some, because I am a clair, I have the gift of scent. I'm able to pick out aromas and scents very keenly, even in my environment, and that includes energy. So I have that natural gift. It's part of the insight in being an intuitive, and so I'm very I would say gifted in a way that I'm able to create the different notes and the layers that create a powerful chord, which is what we call scent. I'm able to do that, and sometimes it's just being fun, testing certain essential oils and how they may layer with imported oils that come from India, parts of Asia, etc., Africa, because most of my oils are imported oils and or uncut oils, so they're quite expensive. And being able to marry those with the essential oils, and knowing that we love Egyptian musk, but do we know that there are certain layers that actually create that scent that I know that exist, and be able to play with that. Same thing with Nak Champa. There's more than one type of champa, so of the champa flowers. So being able to kind of just experiment. And so that's kind of like what I did. My first scent signature, like I said, it was something I have worn since I was, back in the 80s, even though I've already aged myself, but just making that more finite for other people to enjoy. But when I got sick, I just to kind of tell you, when I started that business, I had minimal vision at that time. I had optic neuritis, which creates demyelination of the optic nerve, and I lost the color. So I was like, it was crazy how I was trying to measure things and could barely see and holding things up to my, like this. But I was determined. I'm like, I'm not going to let this, I'm not going to succumb to this. I may have MS, but it doesn't have me. So it was always my way of getting beyond and working through and knowing that if I'm able to retrain my thought process and my brain and how I perceive things, I can overcome this. So it's been a long journey from where I started, like, using droppers, using certain measurements to create these notes and these chords to have sense that just connected with me and that I hoped would connect with other people. That it's kind of like just having fun. You always have to bring joy and fun in what you do, and so that passion play sometimes it manifests some magical things, and so you just kind of go with it.
I'm with you. I agree. What resonates with what you just said with me is it's like you talk about attitude. That's how I translate. It's like it's all in your mentality and your attitude. And attitude can make a difference. It really can when you're going through health issues. You may not be able to completely cure yourself, but it definitely, I agree with you, it shifts everything.
Absolutely. I will say, interestingly enough, at the beginning of the pandemic, after I lost my dad, and like I said, so many businesses were they succumbed to the pandemic and closures, et cetera. That just having that spiritual connection and the tenacity to say, this is where I'm going to go, this is where I'm going to grow, that it's been exciting and it's scary. But I think our human nature, when we're tapping into something greater than ourselves, when it comes to our attitude and how we look at things in life, sometimes you can surprise yourself. Like I always say, I have an attitude of gratitude with latitude. I'm always moving. I'm always growing. I'm a lifelong learner, and so that's why I would say at my age, but where I am as far as my life experiences, I'm able to really garner a lot and always learning from different places and different people. And so I'm just excited to like incorporate that and infuse that into my brand. And eventually I would like it to become more of a lifestyle because yes, I am a conscious eater, vegan. I cook, you probably see a lot of my posts with the food I make, going to the gym 5, 6 days a week. And, having that tribe during the pandemic has really helped to support me. And it in of itself also inspires me to when I go home and I start creating product that I just feel invigorated. So for me, it's all about health, wellness, and wholeness. And that in it is the spectrum of self-care, and knowing that self-care definitely is not being selfish. We have to take care of ourselves.
Yes. And can I say your self care is working for you? I love how you tell your age. I'm like, hey, you could play it off and not tell your age. And I swear, you could easily be 20 years younger. I mean, it's every time I see I know you get this all the time, but really, it's amazing when I see your post. I'm like, this cannot be no 55-year-old. Just can't be. So it's all working for you.
I know my brother says you shouldn't tell your age. You shouldn't. I mean, part of me, it's not like something I have to tell in every, format everywhere. I think when it fits and when it's suitable and appropriate that I share, because I feel I'm proud. I'm so
Mhm.
proud of where I am. When you reach a certain milestone, you look back and you reflect, like, damn, I made it.
Mhm.
And so there's that joy in that. So I don't know, maybe at one point I won't share it. It won't be so.
No, you share away, honey. I would be if I look like you, I'm bragging. 55. I'm fully bragging.
That's funny.
Uh, Rainy's joining us. Good morning, Rainy. She says, "Listen, honey, her supple whips major ash."
Hey, Rainy. That's funny.
Yes. Good morning, Rose. She's joining us too. So
Good
tell
morning.
us, how has you mentioned naming sense after your birth mother. how has that played into just right now, like your current journey with your products and services, and just reconnecting or with your birth mother? And how has that impacted everything?
It has had, I would say, very significant impacts, as I mentioned earlier. During my 30-year search journey, and finally finding my birth family, including my birth father's family, and my half sister, who, hey Danya, because she loves when I shout her out. And my niece she's like my twin. Our voices are alike. We laugh alike. It's so weird. So yeah, I think I need to create something in honor of her next. Um, but my scent, as I mentioned earlier, Rejoice, which is a beautiful bouquet of beautiful exotic floral Himalayan musk. Oh my God, it's decadent. And that scent, Rejoice, was in honor of her. Her name is Joy. And so with that part, making that connection and sharing my passions with her, it's been inspirational. She loves my products too. She loves the body souffle. That's like one of her favorites. And so I think with all that, you have those common threads that connect you based on what you do. Well, at least for me, that's how I work and how I operate. So I'm always inspired. Maybe certain aromas that I know someone says they love, I will kind of replicate in a way that may touch them, myself, and other people. And so I would definitely say that I feel inspired because I do have her support, and she loves what I'm doing, and so it's kind of fun to share that with her, as well as my adoptive mom. And they both have the same name. It's really weird. They have the same name, and so I I always, I go back and look at the places in my life, and I say, wow, here I am where I am in this moment, and being able to share my joy, my passion, all the things I love about life, and share them with people that I love and new people that are coming into my life, because I'm still learning about my biological families, both, maternal and paternal. But just being able to know the sheer joy and the opportunity to have those experiences. And so those life experiences, we definitely infuse them into the things that we do. And so yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yeah. So I want to shift gears a little bit. How has COVID impacted what you do? Has that had an impact, like on the shipping and export? I know you order stuff from afar. How has that impacted your business?
That was hard. It
Mhm.
was, I mean, hard for my business as well as so many other businesses, because, when all of this happened a year ago, yes, if you're from my imports, the person that or intermediary that I work with, who travels to abroad, that was kind of like shut down, or it took like weeks to months to get products, or certain companies were having to shift their business models to meet the demands of industry when it came to developing plastic products, glass, all the things that we were using for essential products. And so a lot of those companies that I used in some of the cohort of my sister biz, we would talk about that. Yeah, either you had to buy incredible volume, or you were backlisted or on a wait list, or whatever it was. So from shipping, packaging, raw material, you being able to ship and a package and ship in a timely manner, it was sometimes essentially out of your hands, and it still is, but with the postal system. So it's been challenging. And then also just product development. How are you making shifts in your products? And so, like I said, I mentioned with GSA Wicks, which is my vegan soy candle line, that was a huge part of my pivot, but also having to invest in that as well, and just kind of stay afloat and agile. And I would say it's starting to get better, but you still definitely feel the effects of it,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah. And how is that affecting shipping to clients, or how are you getting your products to clients? Do they pick them up? You ship them?
I have few customers in the Denver metro southeast area that I'm able to deliver and or pick up. but a majority of my customers are New York, Atlanta, and LA. That's where my primary customers are located. So the shipping piece, especially during the holidays, there was a significant delay in delivery, even though all packages are shipped out priority mail. And that's something you just have to be able to be agile with the customers if something is delayed. I had a package that was shipped from Denver, going to Denver, that ended up going to Ohio. And so, you just have to like either you comp that customer, which is what I did, or you just have to be, like I said, agile and figure out a way to be accommodating, create, have good customer service, but just know some things are just out of your hands.
Yes, absolutely. And speaking of all these products, we need to tell our audience how do you order your products? Where do they go? How do they get these products?
So my business is called Sense Aromatics, which is a collection of bath and body products, all natural bath and body products. And the website is www.gemsense.com. That's GEMSCENTS.com.
Okay. And for local folks, do you send it or can they pick it up or how does that just in case? Because I know folks that are watching will probably want to order now that they've seen you and know what you offer.
They can order online. You could always send me a note. There's my email is on my website as well, and say, can I pick up? I don't have an actual option on the cart yet, but I'm so accommodating with my local customers. If it's picking up, dropping off, meeting somewhere, and so you can communicate with me as well. And again, my email is located on my website. So.
Okay, and I always put that in the comments at the end. If you missed it with Spirit, I will definitely add those to the comments at the end of the interview. So Spirit, gosh, this goes so fast. But before we go, I definitely want to take a moment to include anything that you feel like is so critical and relevant to yourself, your business, something that you want to share with us that you did not get an opportunity yet to tell us.
I first of all, I want to say thank you again for having me on here because in my journey and working with Makisha Booth from Sister Biz. Hey, Makisha, she was like, Spirit, you got to be able to tell your story because if people heard your real story behind your products, it will definitely help to really fuse that gap because it's like, it's about creating relationships. And so it's my intention to do a better job at that. But I would just want to say to anyone who's listening, no matter where you are in your journey, whatever circumstances, that you can always begin again. You can always reach for something and be creative. It doesn't matter circumstances or your age, because I've started over many times, but just find the joy in what you do and create with intention and have fun. And so for me, like I said, my lifestyle is very specific, but it was something that's cultivated and created over time. So I give myself grace with that. And so that's one of the things I offer people as well, because I am one of those self-care people that I just find that when we are able to be really in tune with ourselves, no matter what, we show up as our best selves. And so I'm just grateful to be able to share my story. And thank you for very much, Jessica, for this opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. I am so pleased and it's my pleasure to have you on. I'm excited that we got to get on. And I just have to share a personal moment on that whole set. So when I first met Spirit, it was seriously, she probably thinks I'm just saying this because we're on camera. But seriously, it was amazing. So we got our friend introduced us, and I go over to her house, and everything is just set up. She's got like the set. She takes us outside. We're on the porch, hanging out the patio. The layout was beautiful. I mean, anyway. So I just want to say, like, everything that you're talking about, you really live it. And even just that first opportunity to get to know you and meet you was so lovely, that experience. So it just spoke to who you were or
Oh,
are.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed having you.
I know we definitely need to do that again this spring and summer when it gets warmer because that was so nice, just relaxing. That was
Yes.
self care. That was self
Oh,
care.
absolutely. It was fun. Yeah. And those moments are enjoyable. I think we need to do more of them. So yeah, I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah, same here, same here. So It was lovely talking with you. Please come back because I know as your business grows, I just know you like you said, you're a creator, so you're going to probably have more products and things to offer. And I always love to have guests back for updates. So please come back and share with us again because I know you'll have some good stuff coming down the pipeline.
Well, definitely. Thank you so much, Jessica.
All right. Well, in the meantime, thank you everybody for joining us. Rosalie, Najla, Rainey, whoever else has stepped in and didn't say anything. I appreciate you guys joining us. Stay inspired, stay well. Until next time, this is Takeover Tuesdays, and I'm Jessica Springs. Bye, Spirit.
Bye bye. Thank you.